Miss Heather Groce. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good to see
It,
you.
good to see you. Once I started doing these little videos, you were one that I really wanted to get on here in time, and I know you had reached out to me, and then finally I was like, I need to contact her. So because I enjoy. I know we've talked a couple times in person, and we've had our paths have crossed a couple different times. Uh, really enjoy what you do for the community, and you seem so passionate about it, and you have done it for consistently now for quite a while,
Yeah.
and that says something. So, Heather, we're going to jump right in here, and you told me you are, or if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Orton Gillingham,
Yeah.
Orton Gillingham trained
hmm
reading tutor.
hmm
Okay,
Yep.
so talk about that.
So Samuel Orton was a doctor way back in the early 1900s, I think in the 1930s, maybe. It's a long time ago.
Okay, yeah,
And he saw people with reading struggles, and he was like, why are these very bright people having reading struggles? And so he said, so keep in mind, no technology really back then. And
yeah,
so observation, and he realized that it was the way that their brain processed the sounds of words. And he was right, actually, back then. And then this teacher, her name was Anna Gillingham. So Orton is Samuel Orton, and
okay,
Gillingham is Anna. And Anna was like a revolutionary teacher for her time period. She would take the students up on the roof and set their desks on the roof and stuff like that
yeah,
to learn.
yeah,
And so she said, so Dr. Orton was basically the why, and Anna Gillingham was the how. So she said, well, okay, so he's saying here's what's going on, and she took his research and ran with it, and they collaborated too, but she took it toward the education piece of it. And so what it is, it's a multisensory, explicit, systematic phonics, which sounds really fancy, but all it is we all know what multisensory means. You use all your senses to learn things. And
right.
then explicit is I'm going to tell you how words work. I'm not going to have you guess. We're not going to just um, be wishy-washy about it. I'm going to tell you specifically. And systematic is I'm going to start from the basic and work toward the complex. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that CK says k until I tell you that C says k and K says k as well. So that's all it is. It's just really good old-fashioned phonics, which we should have never gotten away with from. I
Yeah.
mean,
So is it because I know you've had some you'll tell us a little bit about what got you started in the area of dyslexia and things, but this system of learning, is it for anybody?
yes,
It's
anybody can
just
do
for
it.
anybody.
Yep,
Okay, okay,
absolutely. Yep,
okay.
it's I've taught children even on the autism spectrum with it. Now we don't do as much of the touchy-feely if they don't like the
Yeah,
sensory input, but
right, right.
they like generally they like the systematic explicit, like
Yeah,
they like the rules. What are the rules of language? So
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I feel like it's for almost anybody. You have to have pretty much. Now, there are people who can do it with people with a cognitive issue, but I've only worked with children with like an average or above average IQ.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not as skilled at that particular niche, but
Niche. Yeah, okay. But you have like a decade or more experience, right? You've been
right.
doing this
Yep.
a long time. I
Yeah.
remember, I don't know if you started at the Salvation Army, but I remember you were at the Salvation Army holding some sessions and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then kind of just kept doing your thing, right?
Yep, I
So,
started at my kitchen table. And
oh,
then,
wow. Okay, yeah.
yep, and then so I got my training to help my daughter, and then I just took it from there. So
Yeah. So it was, it hit home first,
Yes, absolutely.
and you saw a need, you
Mhm.
began to fill it, and then God allowed you to expand it.
Yes, 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 exactly. I
Yeah.
so I speaking of purpose and God, I was an LPN for 12 years before I did this, and half of the prison population is dyslexic, and 89% of suicide notes have dyslexic text in them. And so
Okay.
for
So back up.
okay,
So you said over how much of the prison
so
system
about 47% of the prison population
is
is dyslexic.
really?
Yes. And we actually had dyslexia law in place before to screen. We were actually screening prisoners, federal prisoners for dyslexia before we were screening school children.
Really?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Do you know
So,
what started that? Like, did they notice something or like what?
yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you, let me say one thing. So,
Yeah.
so why I say all that is to say that I feel like I saved more lives and helped more people than I did as a nurse because I'm helping save their life by helping them learn to read. So that was all I was going to say. But yeah, so they've done studies. There was a big study in Texas, and it was all about that happening. The fact that so many of the incarcerated population was dyslexic. And there was a gentleman who had been in prison for many, many years, and he ended up leaving and getting his master's. And I think he ended up with his doctorate. And then he testified before Congress, and they listened. And
Oh,
he said,
wow.
we need to be screening people in these prisons for dyslexia to see if we can help them. And
Wow.
so they did. And then Um, the Indiana law for dyslexia did not come about until, well, we didn't start screening for dyslexia in Indiana. The law was passed in 2018. So, yeah, we didn't even use the word dyslexia in public education law in our state until 2015, even though we had
Wow.
known since the early 1900s what dyslexia was and what it
That's
looked like.
interesting.
Mhm.
Do you just, it just, I mean, do you have an idea on why, or is it just one of those things that just kind of kept being passed along, passed along, passed along until it just couldn't be overlooked
Um,
anymore?
well, I could get this politics.
Yeah, right.
Politics is why. I'll
Yeah.
stop with that, but just say politics is why. Uh,
Yeah. That's
Follow the
crazy.
money, follow the politics, follow
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
it's
I've
it's
I've always um golly, even on a local level, whenever I was involved in elected and stuff, I sometimes I just shake my head because we made things so difficult that didn't need to be difficult.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
it's kind of like,
absolutely.
here's the problem. There's an easy fix. Well, you
Yeah.
can't do it that way because you got to do this, 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 this. And then what about that person and their feelings? And
Hmm.
what about, and it's like, holy cow, let's
Yeah.
just solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
but, so that's actually crazy that meant that statistic, that many prisoners, the
Hmm.
prison population
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
dyslexia.
Uh-huh. And
So that
and
leads
even worse
to,
is the suicide rate. I mean, 89% of suicide notes have dyslexic text. I mean, that's like we say prevent suicide. We so much awareness has come to suicide, but are we why don't we start preventing suicide when they're in first grade?
yeah. So,
You know?
so if you see this pattern, maybe there's something to it,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
maybe this is an issue to deal with, and
Mhm.
then you can help prevent, because obviously there's some systematic connection, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Um,
not the kids. It's not the kids. It's not like something is off in their brain and that's why
yeah,
it's a systematic issue that is failing them. And
yeah.
And then, of course, that leads to poor self-esteem, and then that leads to
Sure. Sure.
further and further things.
And
So,
so when you say dyslexic text, so I know what you mean, like writing. You're not talking about phone texting, but
right.
so,
Oh, yeah.
but what do
I'm
you
old,
right?
Clay.
But what does dyslexic text looks like?
Look like.
Dyslexic writing.
Yeah. So, letter reversals, of course,
Okay.
and spelling by phonetic spelling instead of understanding. Like they might write
Uh,
WUZ for was instead of
yes.
WAS,
Okay.
like
Okay.
that kind of thing. And we can see that. So we can determine a child is dyslexic with a 92% accuracy at the age of 5.5.
Wow.
And so that's kindergarten.
Yeah.
And when I was first trying to get help for Aaron, as you know, Aaron, my daughter, I was told we don't, um, we don't help until they're like 2 years behind. I mean, they pretty much, I was told by several different people that they don't really screen for that until the third grade. And they didn't screen for it anyway. They
Yeah.
just they just would call it specific learning disability due to reading. They didn't. And it was so funny because um, I, I had a fight with a school, like verbal argument with a school official, and he told me, "You'll never see Orton Gillingham used in a public school in this state, and you'll never hear the word dyslexia." And this was someone who was in the special ed department.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was their beef about it?
Um, they felt like the kids got the help they needed enough with just having the regular IEP, but it wasn't. That's like
Yeah.
if you have a broken arm and I give you an antibiotic, that isn't going to fix the problem.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
Right.
people say don't label your kids, but here's the truth. Labels drive services. That's what it comes down to.
It
You
does.
know,
It
it's
does.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
special ed. That's the
That's
whole deal.
so it's kind of like you may not like it this way, but it's the system. So if
Mhm.
you're going to get help, you've got to you got to do what you got to do because the
Yes.
system's already built,
Mhm.
right?
And and the issue too is so many of these kids, they realize something's different about them. They
Yeah.
know that something's different.
Yeah.
And so really to give them that dyslexia label, that actually brings relief most of the time. You know?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that way they can at least have something to say, okay, now I know what's wrong, so now I can fix it.
right. And also that it's not just that I'm dumb and it's not just that I'm lazy. It's not,
Right.
it's
Right.
I have this issue and now they're going to help me.
So, and all those other, so all that stuff could cause uh, anxiety, depression, things of
Hmm.
that nature.
Yes.
But if they at least have an answer or something they can go after,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
so I always it reminds me of like I know growing up in church and stuff, and you may be familiar with this, but when you talk about having faith, right?
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, don't say that," or "Oh, don't claim that because you got to have faith." And I never bought into that because I would always reply, "Well, the reason you need faith is because you recognize what is, and
Right.
faith is the bridge that takes you over it or
Right.
through it. But
Right.
first, you have to recognize there is a problem to
Right.
even have faith
Right.
that there's a
Well,
problem to solve.
right. I mean, look at the woman who was just trying to touch Jesus's garment, like
Yeah, yeah,
she was acting out in faith. Like she had to
yeah,
do something on her end.
yeah, yeah,
Obviously Jesus could have just solved it for
yeah,
her, but her faith, and how many times did Jesus talk about that? I
yeah,
mean, your faith has healed you. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah. It's faith in
important.
action,
It's
right?
faith in action,
I
exactly.
recognize this issue. I have faith that I can conquer it.
Yes.
So let's go do it, right?
Yes.
It's like
Absolutely.
David. David, I recognize there's a giant in front of me,
Right. Right.
right? I'm not
Right.
just going to pray about it, right?
Right.
But God
Gotta
can
get the
help me
slingshot.
address, yes, God can help me address the giant, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And it is a giant thing for dyslexia because
oh, sure.
1 in 5 people. So that's
Wow.
20% of our population,
Wow.
which is
Yeah.
really crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
that's a
I
lot.
imagine, you know,
Because
grades.
autism's like 1 in 48 or something to that effect, and we're 1 in 5 dyslexia. Not
Wow.
we're, but I feel like I'm on the dyslexia
Oh,
team.
yeah, sure, sure.
But
Yeah. No, you and your daughter have been kind of a tag team for a long time, haven't you? Yeah.
yes, she
Yeah.
is really her life, and that's the thing. Her life has totally changed from knowing, so
Yeah.
when she was in 4th grade, she read at about a 1st grade level for like nonsense words. Nonsense words are actually useful because they let you know, do they actually know the phonics or have they just memorized all these words? Because
Okay.
they're bright kids, and
Yeah.
so they memorize a lot.
Yeah.
And but then she did an online, well, I taught her with Orton Gillingham. She did an online public school for high school, and she graduated 15 out of 175. And then she went to college. She did her associates in 16 months,
Wow.
and got a degree in graphic design, and her GPA was 3.959.
Wow.
So you can, the reason I say that is to say you can do it,
Yeah, I was going to say,
like
you've been there, done
you
that.
can
You've
do
got the
it.
proof. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes. And what's the most beautiful thing of all is that she got her Orton Gillingham training, and she helps me in my little
That's
program.
awesome.
She also is a graphic designer at Bryant Printing. Shout out to small business.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
But she has 2 jobs, but
That
yes.
is
And,
awesome.
but she knows the power of it. She knows
Yeah.
that it can change everything, and
Yeah.
she
Yeah. And
believes
how
it.
encouraging is that, right? I've been there. I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
no one can tell her, well, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. That's powerful.
Yeah, that's it, and that's another thing, about the label part, she's always advocated for that label of dyslexia, or using Orton Gillingham, even with kids who don't have dyslexia,
Yeah.
but the label for her, like she told me, she said, Mom, if she said everyone has labels. The label might be nurse, the label might be mom, the label might be sister, whatever the label is, we all
Yeah.
have labels.
Right.
But if you don't fill our little name tag with the word dyslexia, then we fill it in with the word stupid.
Oh, wow.
And that
That says a
was
lot.
everything to me. Yeah,
That says a lot, doesn't it?
it does. It really does.
Wow.
It was,
Wow.
it's everything.
So tell us about what you do on a regular basis now. You
Okay.
you actually have a
So
program,
I
right?
do. Yep.
Yeah.
So I did work at I did work at the Salvation Army, and I did group tutoring through there, and I loved it, but I was outgrowing the physical space.
Okay.
Salvation Army is a wonderful place and they do amazing things, but
Yeah.
they have a lot going on there at one time. You've been in
Yes.
there.
Right.
So
Right.
I was just getting so many students I couldn't, continue. So in the space. So I'm in a church in Knightstown, and that's a God thing, how I ended up there, pastor and all that. But what we do now, so I was tutoring after school children, but what had happened was, well, one, I'm a proponent of homeschoolers because I homeschool, but a big factor for me was that in the 2024-2025 school year, it came to in effect that if you didn't pass IREAD 3, then it was mandatory retention. And so you didn't go on to 4th grade. No matter what your scores were, you could be a straight A student and you could still be held back in 3rd grade over this one
Yes.
test. And
Right.
children are worth so much more than a test. And
Yes.
so
Is it
I
still, did they quickly change that, or is that still in place?
still in place as far as I know.
Yeah. Hmm.
I know it's terrible. But so what happened was I the 2024-2025 school year, I started in August for our school year, And by October, I told every parent, I will finish this school year because you're counting on me, but don't refer any other public schoolers to me. And I will never take anybody else because it was kill and drill. I was just continually killing and drilling this, like, what's a synonym? What's an antonym? Like all this. And I wasn't even teaching kids to read really anymore.
Yeah.
And I just hated it. And the pastor,
So did you feel like, because I hear this all the time, this
mm,
phrase, and I'm sure you've heard it,
sure,
just teaching toward a test.
that's what it exactly was. And
Yeah.
I didn't even work for the school system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
It's like, I'm my own business. Why do I have to do this? So the pastor at the church said to me one day, this was before all that happened, and he had said, your classroom's a safe and happy place for kids. And so I went to Erin because she worked with me, my daughter, and she said, and I said, sis, I said, after the school year, I can't do this anymore because it's no longer a safe and happy place for kids. It's just, I'm continually kill a drill.
Uh,
And so my son, he's 18 and he's followed our whole journey and he's not dyslexic, but he's very, an advocate too.
oh, I'm sure.
And he told me, and I'll be honest, I make way less money with homeschool families because they are one income families most of the time, and that kind of
Sure.
stuff. But you cannot impress 18-year-old boys very often. But he said, Mom, you chose morals over money. And
Yeah.
boy, that I was like, if I did nothing else, that was the right decision,
That's
because
awesome.
so what we do is we run an education center for homeschool families. So a lot of homeschoolers don't know how to teach their kids to read or
Oh,
do
sure.
math, or they get stuck, just
Yeah.
like every parent does. And
Right.
so we just have all kinds of programs for them. We have chess club and Pokemon class, and we have all these things, and they just come to us, and we just help them with whatever subject they're needing. They're still homeschoolers. We're not
Yeah.
taking over for them. They still
Gotcha.
qualify as a homeschooler. It's just like getting tutoring, like you would
That's what I
for
was going to say.
yeah.
It's a tutoring service
Hmm.
for the areas that they need help in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And what's it called?
It's called we are called Lightbulb Literacy, Henry County.
Lightbulb Literacy, Henry County,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
have a Facebook page.
We do?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's in Knightstown now, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And so how far do some of the kids come from?
Um, well, quite a way. It just depends, but I've had kids from um 40 minutes away. I
Yeah.
have, and they're grateful for it. They're just
Yeah.
thankful to get help, I've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
kids that literally they were going to have to go back to public school because they were struggling so much with reading, and now the parents are like, in a few weeks they're like, oh nope, we can do this now,
Yeah.
so for me it's just being able. So many kids are the square peg trying to fit the round hole,
Yeah. Yeah.
and in a traditional classroom. And so it's like, I know that sounds bad, but I just want to keep my kids out of there because it was like when I was working with public school children, and this is no insult to the teachers or anything like that. Please don't
Sure.
think that.
Sure.
But it was like this. I felt like I'm patching up the sheep and sending them back to the wolves again, and so they're continually going back to an environment that just isn't created for them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So,
so
yeah. So I hear what you're saying. If I'm hearing you correctly, it's not like you said, you're not talking about the teachers or
mm-mm,
individuals
mm-mm.
specifically, but it's the way the system is created.
Yes, yes,
Because,
exactly.
and the reason I can say that and agree with that and be in tune with that is because I've spoke to many teachers over the years, said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like they're so frustrated with the system that they're
Yes,
in.
yes.
And we even had a local teacher, Debbie Rains. She was teaching at Eastwood, and she was to the point she could retire. I'm not going to tell her whole story because I'll probably get some of it wrong, but she just got there was this. It came down to it. There was a certain reading, and it actually had to do with reading,
Sure.
and she was so frustrated by kind of the way it was being. I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but the way it was being forced,
Mhm.
and she finally said, "I can't do this.
So
Like
sad.
I will not do this anymore."
Mhm.
And so she went ahead and retired. She had great things to say about the school, her coworkers, all that.
Yeah.
But again, it's the system, right?
Yes. Yes. Right.
And
Right.
I just
I mean,
I don't
the
want to.
American public school system was created by the Rockefellers, right? And so then if you really want to dig into all that,
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of people
right,
who do.
right. Redumbing us down and the whole thing, yes.
Well, and here's the thing too. I was thinking about this literally a couple days ago while I was driving, and I spoke to my mom about it. And I don't want to camp here too long because I don't have the answers. I really
Sure,
don't.
sure.
But it does seem that the whole system needs to be looked at.
Yes.
And I don't know if the teachers need to be the ones to say to be allowed
Mhm.
to overhaul the system,
Right,
because they're the boots on the ground. They're the ones
right.
with the kids every single day.
Sure, absolutely.
But somehow it needs overhauled,
Yeah,
restructured, something,
yeah.
because the way we've been doing things isn't working. And the
It's not.
solutions that come from the top don't work in the classroom as well.
Yes. Well,
And so,
67% of Indiana fourth graders don't read at fourth grade level. So,
yeah,
yeah, so obviously a lot of those children are not dyslexic because, like I said, that's only 20% of the
yeah,
population. And so we have to do a systemic overhaul. If someone listening would like to jump down a crazy rabbit hole, there is a good podcast. It's like a series of podcasts called, it's called, oh, it's by Emily Hanford. Oh, Sold a Story. And it's all about why it's called Sold a Story.
sold a
And
story.
Sold a
Okay.
Story and all about how this system has really messed up and people have become millionaires based on a faulty system. So
Uh, yes, I do know. Again, I don't
curriculum
know.
publishers, let's say
I
it that
don't.
way, curriculum publishers have
Yes,
become millionaires over
yes,
faulty system, right? So,
yes. No, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so yeah,
yeah.
I
And I know
won't.
that's a whole rabbit hole, but some
Yeah,
parents may be interested to hear why this is
yeah,
happening. And some
yeah,
teachers have been really impressed by that. And then they went and advocated for their kids to say,
yeah,
this was not right. This was not
yeah,
right. We were
yeah.
taught, you know.
Well, like I said, I've talked to several teachers over the years, um, because I like to, you know, I get ideas, I
Hmm.
get perspectives, I see big pictures and patterns,
Right,
right?
right.
And so I'll get this idea, this thought, how I perceive things, and then I'll find someone with an expertise in that area,
Sure.
and I'll say, here's what I'm observing, where, basically, where's my blind spots? Am I on track?
Right.
And so I've done that with teachers over and over and over again. And I have many teachers, and I promise you, I can't think of one that has told me, oh, no, the system's working great.
Right. Right.
Like,
Exactly.
for real, they're all extremely frustrated
Yes.
by what's been put up on them,
Yes.
and it constantly changes, right? And
Yep.
anyways, again, I'm no expert in that area, but I've heard the same story over and over and over again.
Is
And
that good?
sounds like you've
So sad.
had the same experience, and
Yeah.
So you would think, again, I know you talk about the rabbit hole, and
Yeah.
there's a reason, but
Oh
you
yeah.
would think
There's
we
a
could
reason.
solve this problem, wouldn't you?
Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
We definitely could, but it's the
yeah,
rabbit hole.
yeah. You got to get money out of the way, right?
Without sounding like one of the
Hey, hey,
crazy.
the love of money,
Yes, the love of
right?
money is the root of all evil. You better believe it. And that's what
Causes
comes
causes
down.
all kinds of problems, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
even turns good people bad, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and so just to say a little hint of what that entails. So there's a publishing company called Fontes and Pinnell. I'll probably get like some bad email from them or something. Not really, probably. They're probably not watching Newcastle, Indiana, but there is a publishing company called Fontes and Pinnell, and they did a program called Reading Recovery. And Reading Recovery was supposed to help these kids that are a little bit behind in reading, and it was supposed to help bring them up. Okay. So they did this study, and I can find the study, but I don't have it on me right now. But so this study was they took some kids and they did nothing with them at all. And then they took some other struggling readers and they did reading recovery. Guess who did worse later in reading tests?
the reading recovery.
Yes, intervention was worse when it was
Wow.
that intervention
Wow.
than nothing, than getting no extra help.
Wow. Was it because
Yeah.
of the way they were doing it or the
Yeah,
style of
reading recovery
curriculum?
doesn't work. But they were going to just keep pushing that because that's their money maker, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a whole rabbit hole. But I'm just saying, like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
So
where, and there's more than that. But yeah, that's like
it's kind of like here's the cure,
mm,
but if we release it, then we can't make money
right.
on the problem.
Right. When I was fighting for Erin, for some of the things she needed and the accommodation she needed, I came
Yeah.
home to my husband one time and I said, trying to fight this system is
Yeah.
like trying to convince people that there's scientific proof of the Easter Bunny. Like you
Yeah.
could totally give them every, not that I'm doing that, like you can give them every fact,
Yeah.
every study, but some people will still just think, well, no, that's the Easter Bunny, and we never believed in the Easter Bunny, so
Yeah.
we're not going to believe in it now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's literally like, I mean, I would come with
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
facts. I
Truth
mean,
truth is very hard for some people to swallow because it turns their lives upside down.
yes.
Because then they have to start accepting something that they never believed,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Right,
it's like, no, look, here is the real problem. No, it can't be. It just
right,
can't be,
right,
right?
right.
Anyways, I don't want
And
to go
so
down
many
that
teachers,
rabbit
I feel
hole.
so sorry for them too, because
Yeah,
they were taught incorrectly in college, some of them.
sure.
And so then they're like, I mean, it's like, how many kids have I lost? How many kids? One of my mentors is a
Yeah,
former school teacher, and she has set my main mentor. And I mean, she's been out of the school, and she's a trainer for Orton Gillingham tutors, and I mean, she still cries over the kids that she lost 30 years
yeah,
ago. I mean, because she
yeah.
just didn't know any better. It wasn't that she
Right,
obviously she loved children and wanted to help them.
right, right.
And but like she said, if I would have just listened to the moms knew, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and that's something I've said before. I'm like, you can be whatever kind of expert that you are, but no one knows Erin Groce like Heather Groce.
yeah.
Like
Right,
no one knows her
right,
like
right,
I know her.
right.
And so
And yeah. So, and that's the thing too. I think sometimes doctors, teachers, police officers, I mean,
right,
doctors, nurses get jaded, right? Because
right,
they see, I'll just speak plainly,
sure.
horrible parents.
Sure, absolutely.
and they get jaded.
Yep.
And then when someone's truly knows and pleading their case, it's almost like you have to, like you said, you have to go the extra mile
Right.
to plead your case,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I get, yeah. So we're got just a couple minutes left.
Sure.
Do you have spots open? Are
Yes.
you accepting other
Yes.
homeschoolers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
So
So our classes start, we start a new set of classes every 6 weeks. So,
okay.
yep,
So
they can,
if there's a homeschool parent out there watching you right now or watching this, um, can they just because I'll tag your Facebook and all
yeah,
that. Can they just
absolutely.
contact you through Messenger, or what's the best way to
Yep,
get
they
a
can
hold of
do
you?
that. They can, my number's on the Facebook. I have a website on the Facebook, I
Okay.
I made a graphic designer. So,
Yeah, right.
so Aaron made my Facebook, I mean my
Okay.
website.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So just if someone's interested, just by going to your Facebook page, they can find your number, your website,
Yeah,
Messenger,
anything they
all that.
want. Yep, and we're happy to help. And so here's the thing, just as a little aside quickly, is half of the prison population is dyslexic, but but also 36% of millionaire entrepreneurs are also dyslexic as
Wow.
well. And so, you know what? It's all up to us, whatever path we're,
Right.
you know, and that's what
Right.
I hope to be, is that light of the path. I'm
Yeah.
like this, I've been down this path before, and it's
Yeah.
harder. And
Yeah.
it's, and it's the woods, and it's the,
Yeah.
but all good things are hard. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? All good things are hard, right?
Right.
Everything
Right. Right.
that's
And
good is hard.
you know, 20% of life is what happens to you, and 80% is your choices you make about it,
Amen.
right?
Amen. But these
Right.
children don't have a choice, and they
Yeah.
don't have a voice.
They need, yeah. Yeah.
And so they need that fight. You know what I mean? Now, if someone is not a homeschooler and they just need answers, I'm happy to help them as well. I did want to shout that out because I've had some
Okay.
public school parents contact me as well. And I won't tutor their kid, but I will give them resources. So,
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right, Heather, this has been interesting, been enlightening. It's kind of neat to hear you share your passion, and
I love
that's one thing that I hope this little podcast is able to do, is show the community, the people in the community that are doing great things, that are grabbing hold of their passion, their niche, their calling, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
not getting all like some people get so entrenched with so many things they can't do anything about,
Right.
and it paralyzes them from
Right.
action.
Absolutely.
But, I love it when the people grab hold of what they can do and then they do it.
Max Lucado said, God created you on purpose for a purpose. And I
Absolutely.
always tell the kids that like who you are, guys, is not a mistake.